All right, this is fastest 15 minutes on social media, fastest 15 minutes on the internet. Kind of caught me off guard, but I need to get back on my game. Anyway, okay, so I want to talk about money again. I want to talk about money and the coronavirus specifically and the racial implications of coronavirus. All right, so it seems that the United States of America and its president and the current administration are so hell bent on the whole ventilator and vaccine thing and all of these type of things that they're overlooking the one thing that's the most important, and that is that people get healed, all right, and that people get cured, and that people feel good, and that everybody's health is back to normal. And ever since this thing jumped off, they've never tried to do that. So, and I'm just perplexed why so many people keep coming at me like, well, why aren't you following all the protocols? Because they lied. So what makes you think they not lying now? Okay, just stay with me just for a minute, all right? So one day, okay, so now we're social distancing. We're in the house. We're, we got masks on. We got gloves. We got all of this. School is out. Work is out. Nobody's doing nothing. Nobody's, all the restaurants and all that stuff are closed. And, even in some states, the liquor stores are closed. So everything is closed down. All right. And now they're talking about putting us into a further quarantine or lockdown. All right. Most of the people who have the virus have already been quarantined. A lot of the deaths that we're getting now are just people that have already, that they've just been through the incubation period and are now manifested real heavy symptoms. Okay. But here's the thing. And this is what we all need to know, that these other protocols are actually healing people. And I said it before, look, the Chinese, they don't care about the whole thing with modern medicine and all that kind of stuff. I mean, come on, y'all. They were the ones over there. They over there eating bats and cats and dogs and all kinds of stuff. All right. So we know that they don't follow traditional protocols. And then even President Trump tried to, call it the Chinese virus and all this kind of stuff. But the bottom line is that they're using the things that matter. All right. Just like, I posted on my timeline about being in an alkaline diet. That's Dr. Sebi's teachings. Clear the body of mucus. Because you got to understand, and those are smart things. Why? Because the virus lives or hides in mucus. It lives, like once it gets on the walls of your lungs and you got mucus in your lungs, then it gives the virus a hiding place, and it can sit there and reproduce and reproduce and reproduce forever until you die. The same thing is true. The ventilator thing is ridiculous. Okay, they're getting ready to give Ford and General Motors a whole bunch of money, and all these other companies that make ventilators and respirators and I don't know, whatever they are making. But it's not going to work if you don't kill the virus. All it's going to make is you're going to have a person, you'll breathe easy until you die, but you're going to die. That's what I'm saying, because the traditional medicines that they have do not work as well as what these other doctors have discovered. And they don't want to give the Chinese and the Cubans and the Dominicans credit for this. That's the whole thing. It's racism. It's white supremacy all over again, but this time in medicine. Because they don't want to say, and finally, look, so many people were dying in Italy that finally, what happened? The Italians called in them Cubans and was like, look, come over here and help us. And see, that's what I'm saying. But when you got a narcissistic, egotistical leader like Trump, they don't want to do that. He wants to get credit for everything. Just like whatever the stimulus checks, I want my signature to be on the stimulus checks. Who cares? As long as, you got to, where's your heart? You got to have a heart to help people, or at least a heart for the people. He don't care about nothing or nobody. So why should I follow what he's saying? And he's been lying since December. January, February, March, December, this is 3 or 4 months, right? And that's why we got so many sick people. We really, if he would have listened to what the intelligence report said, in December and January, we wouldn't be right here where we are now. And if he would follow the protocols as set forth by the people that are really healing people, it would be no problem. But they trying to sell vaccines, they trying to buy and sell ventilators and all of that kind of stuff. It's all economic for him. It's all about money. It has nothing to do with people's health. And what do you care if it's not a traditional American Medical Association protocol that's not there? But if people are living and if people are recovering, what difference does it make? And they don't want to give and that's the reason why they don't want to give Dr. Sebi credit. Dr. Sebi was an incredible man. Incredible. And then, you can't say that he healed anything, because that would be illegal, or you can't use his techniques. Why? Because it would be practicing medicine without a license, like they tried to sue him about and tried to take him to court and put him in jail and all that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. And it's all because they cannot find a way. Look, with these traditional treatments, it's just like I said, it's like your grandma. Like when your grandma had the thing and it was like, okay, like I told the story about packing my great grandmother's chest with onion syrup and onions and all that, or or drinking hot liquids, or when your grandma made you chicken noodle soup and she told you to just, you wasn't feeling good, and she would give you that chicken noodle soup because that was killing the virus. That was killing the virus. She may not have known what was going on. She may not have known medically what was going on, but she knew how to get you better. And the same thing, look, we have not had hospitals in the places that we've been. They haven't always had hospitals and stuff like that, in a lot of these places. And then they cordoned off Cuba, called Cuba communist. But guess what? The Cubans have the best doctors in the world, bar none, way better than the United States. So you mean to tell me, and they actually have legitimate cures for cancer. And we don't. We still putting people on chemo and they're dying. My mother is one of them. My mother died, a few weeks after they put her on chemo. She was dead. Didn't work at all. And I know a lot of people in that same boat, in support groups and all that, put on the chemo. And my dad, on the other hand, my dad refused all treatment that they offered him. And he didn't die of cancer. He slipped and fell, unfortunately. I know that's not funny, but if he was here, he would understand why I'm laughing. Because I used to always tell him to sit his butt down. That's after I could tell him that after he was real old. I couldn't tell him that when he was young, though, because whipped my butt. Anyway, but at that time we had an understanding, and he knew I loved him. But I'm just telling you, you can't always listen to these doctors. And so that leads me to the last thing I want to talk about. And this is why I say this. Okay, there have been, in my life, there have been 2 occasions when I was told that there was nothing else that a doctor could do for me, and that they were going to put me on pain medication and they were going to send me home to die, and that I should resign myself to the fact that I was going to go home and that I was going to die. Which is kind of what they did to my mother. They sent my mother to a hospice. The hospice is short for, we're going to send you home to die, because we ain't going to do that. We ain't going to waste no more time or money or effort or energy on you. So understand and believe that I understand and know exactly what that's like. I did, even though it might not have been coronavirus, but when you were sitting there, but you know what I told? They said first they sent this doctor, this high-ranking doctor in the hospital in to talk to me. Then they sent the head of the nursing department in to talk to me, and she told me that if I thought that I was going to live, that I was delusional. Which I've been, so people have told me. So that's why when people say stuff to me, I take it with a grain of salt. I don't really care. Because this lady sat there and told me I was delusional because I wouldn't accept, she was like, well, later on you'll come to accept it. I never did, and I never died. I went and I called I called a doctor friend of mine, and he was like, "Come see me." And I got on a plane, sick as a dog. Got on the plane, and he was a brother, and he cured me. That's all I got to say about that. And then the next time was that I had conflicting illnesses. I had acute high blood pressure and acute anemia going on at the same time. I had a doctor. I can't pronounce the name of the kind of doctor, but anyway, they deal with your blood, right? And I was internally bleeding, and I was bleeding out like every couple of weeks. I had to go, and I had to have transfusions, and I had to have infusions of iron put into my blood so that I wouldn't die. And so anyway, so finally, after a few of these, this, that, and the other thing, the lady, they did the same thing. Oh, you're gonna die, so just go home and die. And I'm like, what? It's like, damn, I was already there once before, so I'm gonna die again, And once again, I was like, F y'all, I'm not about to die. So I was in Las Vegas, and a friend of mine, she's a nurse, and she said, look, let me tell you something. And she told me about blood. She started explaining to me about the medications, because at that time I was on like 15. I had a big old, I just had a big old bag of medicine, right? And and every couple of hours I was taking it, and I was like, this ain't no way to live, because all of the medicine just made me like lethargic and just like, no life or nothing, no energy or nothing. I was just like laying there all day, And so, they was like, well, the only thing you can do is file for disability and just lay there and blah, 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 blah. Well, anyway, long story short, she was like, basically all the blood pressure medicine that they put black people on, and she hit me to the program. She'd been a nurse like over 30 years. She was like, look, say all the people they put black people on, all the medicine they put black people on is designed to do a couple of things. It's either designed to destroy your kidney function, destroy your liver function, or to destroy your the flow of blood through your arteries. And so she's like, eventually either you'll be a diabetic, you'll be on insulin, or you'll just die, or you'll go into cardiac arrest or have a stroke. And I was like, what? And I say, so what's the answer? And she said something that I thought was the craziest thing. She said, drink a glass of red wine. And then she started, before you go to bed at night, she said, don't sit there and get drunk, because, I'm thinking, Pa, we about to get it. She said, no, don't do that. She said, drink a glass of red wine. And then she started explaining to me about the types of red wine and what they would do. And so I found out that certain ones were like thicker and certain ones were thinner than other ones. And maybe I'll do a teaching on that one day. But once I found out, and I realized that, and then so I started doing it. And I never forget. Now don't get me wrong, when you do these kind of medicine, or when you do this kind of protocols, you have to be diligent in it. You can't stop it or whatever, because then whatever condition you have, it could come back. So I just want to put that caveat in there. But look, so she says drink a glass of wine. So I started doing it. And then, so and I would go up to the corner drugstore and take my blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. And lo and behold, 3 months after I started doing that every night, my blood pressure was normal. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works. I don't know all of the science involved in it or nothing. But all I know is it works. And I don't, look, to this day, I don't take any medication. None. Everything that I do is natural. If it's not natural, I don't do it. And that's why I know that when these people are telling you about these home remedies and all that kind of stuff, a lot of them are actual, they're actually true. So don't let money tie you up and let you be dead sitting in a box somewhere because some white idiot, and I'm going to say it just like that, because some white idiot told you that this is not, gonna work or whatever. Forget them. Live. I speak, and I'm gonna go over a few minutes, but I speak life. I speak, love. I speak health. I speak wellness over all of you. I love y'all, and I do this not for money. I don't do it for anything like that. I do it because if I could save one person, then I'm like, like Dr. King said, that I have not lived in vain. All right. So just don't get caught up in the rigmarole. Do whatever is best to heal yourself, to heal your family members, but don't get caught up in protocol and all that kind of stuff just because the white man ain't say it's okay. Guess what? We was getting healed a long time before the white man ever discovered there was a such thing as medicine. And I keep telling y'all, they ain't discovered nothing. Imhotep is the father of medicine. Imhotep. Fastest 15 minutes is actually the fastest 16 minutes today. I love all of y'all, and please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and peace.